am pleased to announce historic reforms to dramatically accelerate access to new medical research and treatments based on psychedelic drugs. In many cases, these experimental treatments have shown life-changing potential for those suffering from severe mental illness and depression.
Hey! I'm the Lizard King! I can do anything! Come on, raise your hands if you understand!
So here it is, the snake. It's called the snake.
From great suffering, great pain, came a solution. Communities, where disorder became harmony.
The way things look, the way things are very different.
What do you think would happen if you skipped your morning injection?
Golden Circle proudly presents...
Mr. President, my name is Poppy Adams.
I believe the UN has no teeth, so I've selected you as leader of the free world to receive this communication. And I invite you to begin negotiations
In the largest scale hostage situation in history. A few weeks ago, an engineered virus was released contained in all varieties of my product. Cannabis, cocaine, heroin, opium, ecstasy, and crystal meth.
Including our cherished veterans. Our veterans are having a tremendous hard time. You know, the suicide rate, we have it down a little bit, but they are having a hard time. And I got a call from a number of people, including the great Joe Rogan. And he said, we have to do something about this.
I'm not buying what Michael Murphy's selling. I'm even more skeptical now. I don't think he knows enough about the weather to be talking about this. I enjoyed talking to Kristen, but she's making some crazy claim. Uh-oh, here we go. HARP. Every conspiracy theorist's ears just got a little bit bigger. For those of you who don't know what HARP is, it's a top-secret military installation. The strange weather patterns, the zombie storms. Even though it's clear that something's going on, I'm not buying that chemtrails are causing all these things. Here's what I learned on my journey. What people are calling chemtrails are not the government spraying evil chemicals on you. They look like clouds because they are clouds.
Some of you are already infected, and this is what you can expect in the coming days.
After a brief incubation period, victims present with stage 1 symptoms.
A blue rash. Next, second stage symptoms appear. Mania, as the virus enters the brain.
I can't prepare you for what's going to happen.
There's something missing from our lives. Something that has been stolen.
When people have the freedom to choose, they choose wrong.
The HARP thing is a bit more confusing. It's terrifying when you're too dumb to know who's stupid. And unfortunately, that's where I find myself. And the only people who really know are the people that are working at HARP. And none of them are talking. And I wouldn't talk either. And none of them are talking. And I wouldn't talk either.
And I looked into it. I called Bobby, I called Oz, I called Marty and Jay. And it was uniform support. And I said, so why would we wait 3 or 4 years to get it done? Or 10 years, frankly. Let's get it done immediately. And
are the world's governments manipulating the weather and creating huge zombie freak storms? I'll tell the government right now, tell you right now if you're listening, NSA, CIA, I'm available, okay? If you show me all the real wreckage, I swear to God, I will make fun of that crap to the end of time. I'll make up stories. I'll lie to my mother. I don't care. You show me a UFO, I'll lie to my mother.
Very distressing to the victim and those around them. Stage 3, paralysis. Muscles enter a state of catastrophic seizure, and once the muscles of the thorax become affected, breathing becomes impossible, leading to a very nasty death within 12 hours.
That's what happened. This has probably never been anything happened so quickly. Everybody is so strongly in favor of this. It's for a lot of people, but it's for our military in particular. The suicide epidemic among veterans is a national tragedy. Since 9/11, we've lost over 21 times more veteran lives to suicide than on the battlefield. So we lose, think of that.
But I have good news to the millions already affected. It doesn't have to be this way. I have an antidote.
What have you done to me, you...
100% effective and ready to ship out worldwide at a moment's notice. You have my word. I will do this.
Look, without Derek Zoolander, male modeling wouldn't be what it is today.
Hello, Derek.
Hello.
Welcome to your relaxation time. Let this wonderful 80s classic soothe you. Just a nice, warm, happy time. Happy, happy, happy. Ha 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 ha. Nothing to worry about at all. Just relax.
I saw in you what someone once saw in.
Golden Circle proudly presents.
My name is Poppy Adams, CEO of the Golden Circle. We engage in an aggressive business strategy, invest in the latest technology, and take strict disciplinary action.
Spectacular, eh?
Yeah, it is.
If I'm not the receiver, what does that make you?
Well, then that must make me the giver.
Only be the musical stylings of Victor Oladipo, who is the reigning two-time champion of the All-Star Weekend player talent show.
You are talented. I give you a little credit on that. A lot of credit. You're very talented. I mean, you're not a karaoke guy like me, but you can actually. You know they call me Old Brown Eyes, right?
As a matter of fact, you both have experience singing New York, New York. His was at the Slam Dunk Contest. Yours was in Vegas.
Yes.
We had the show out there. Here's just a little sampling.
See, I love to do karaoke. That's good, isn't it?
You see those two mics back there?
You made up your own words.
You see those?
Wait, that was the words.
Hey.
In old New York?
Yeah.
The long-awaited duet, Victor Oladipo, Charles Barkley, New York, New York.
Hey, yo, let me lead, bro. Let me lead.
I got you.
people have it rough. Even when they're feeling down and out, they're forced to smile for the camera, be cordial to their fans, and pretend like their lives are perfectly fine. Sometimes the stress of the entertainment industry becomes too much to handle, and some celebrities crack under all the pressure. If this is your first time visiting our channel, don't forget to subscribe, and please give this video a big thumbs up because today we're showing you 10 celebs who had epic mental breakdowns. Jennifer Lopez. While filming the movie Enough in 2002, Jennifer Lopez became overwhelmed with trying to juggle her singing and acting career. The star said she was suffering from a lack of sleep, and she eventually had a nervous breakdown. She literally froze on the set of the movie and was unable to move or even think properly. She says instead of visiting a shrink, she went home and slept for the entire weekend. Although she's feeling much better these days, she'll never forget her epic meltdown. Demi Lovato. Mental health issues and an eating disorder were at the root of Demi Lovato's breakdown. Back in 2010, she assaulted one of her backup dancers on an airplane. The incident caused Demi to do some self-reflection, and she entered an inpatient facility to deal with bipolar disorder, bulimia, her physical and emotional issues, and to seek help for her addiction to cutting. She later confessed she couldn't go more than an hour without doing cocaine, but her 3-month rehab stint sent her down the right path to a successful recovery. Mariah Carey. In 2001, Mariah Carey's breakup with Latin singer Luis Miguel was cited as the reason for her mental health breakdown. The singer showed up to MTV's TRL and began doing a striptease for host Carson Daly. She then told him, "Everyone needs a little therapy, and today's that moment for me." Not long after, she was checked into a mental health facility after she cut herself while smashing dishes all over her New York City hotel room. Selena Gomez. Selena Gomez's mental health worsened when she was diagnosed with lupus. In 2014, she completely stopped working on music, and sources reported that she secretly entered a rehab facility to address her issues. Throughout the years, and as her health began to deteriorate, she fell into a deep depression. She would slip into a really dark place, and it was time for her to tackle her issues head on. She entered rehab again in August 2016 to fight depression, anxiety, and panic attacks. Lindsay Lohan. Who could forget Lindsay Lohan's epic meltdown? It seemed like every day the actress was getting caught up in more and more trouble. Drugs and alcohol played a huge role in the star's numerous arrests and rehab stints, and she was locked up on a cocaine charge, involved in a hit-and-run accident, and accused of stealing a pricey necklace from a jewelry store. Tom Cruise. In 2005, Tom Cruise appeared on an episode of Oprah and literally jumped on the talk show host's couch to declare his love for actress Katie Holmes. And then he made an appearance on the Today Show and blasted actress Brooke Shields for using antidepressants to deal with her postpartum depression. When Tom tried to school Today host Matt Lauer on the history of psychiatry, we knew he had officially lost it. Britney Spears. In 2007, the thought of losing custody of her 2 children frightened Britney Spears so much, her mental health began to deteriorate right before our eyes. She showed up to a hair salon, grabbed the clippers, and proceeded to shave her entire head. Then she took an umbrella and smashed it against a paparazzo's car window. Her family finally stepped in and took control of her life, and it seems to have helped. If it weren't for her multiple psychiatric visits, who knows where Britney would be today? Kanye West. Kanye West has always exhibited some pretty strange behavior, from ranting and raving on Twitter to interrupting Taylor Swift's MTV VMAs acceptance speech. But we didn't know the severity of his mental health issues until he was involuntarily admitted to a psychiatric hospital in November 2016. The rapper was reportedly paranoid and depressed following Kim Kardashian's Paris robbery, and he was also struggling to cope through the anniversary of his mom's death. Amanda Bynes. Amanda Bynes' progression from the fun, sweet, and lovable Nickelodeon star into an erratic, bong-throwing actress left us all sorts of confused. When she attended court to fight her possession of marijuana and tampering with evidence charges, she showed up wearing various matted and messy wigs. It was at that moment we realized she was dealing with some major issues. Amanda was placed under numerous psychiatric holds, and her parents now have control over her finances and her medical needs. Misha Barton. After leaving the OC after just 3 seasons, Misha Barton's life went on a downward spiral. In 2009, she was involuntarily admitted into a psychiatric hospital. Her rep initially blamed her meltdown on a bad reaction to having her wisdom teeth extracted, but Misha later admitted she had a full-on breakdown. Her troubles have followed her throughout the years, and in January 2017, she was found on top of a fence in West Hollywood, screaming that her mom was a witch and rambling about the world shattering. She was admitted to the hospital again, and the actress claims her erratic behavior was due to someone slipping a drug in.
It's like something from a Hollywood horror movie. A hospital where patients are given massive doses of drugs like LSD, intensive shock therapy, put to sleep for months at a time.
I was reduced to a baby and wearing diapers and being fed and, you know, I can't imagine it. I don't remember that, thank goodness, because it would haunt me in my dreams.
But at Montreal's Allen Memorial Institute, the nightmare was all too real. And incredibly, what happened there was secretly supported by the U.S. Central Intelligence Agency and the Canadian government.
It just doesn't make sense that you can take a mother away from her children and ruin her life and that other people won't be affected too.
I'm Bob McEwen. On this Fifth Estate, we investigate what the Government of Canada kept hidden for decades and what they're still trying to hide. It was 1964, and 5-year-old Diane McIntosh couldn't wait when her father said they were going for a drive to visit her mother, who was in the hospital.
My dad used to let me sit on his knee and steer the car, and so that was play.
On each visit, their car would turn onto the long drive leading through the hospital grounds to the Allen Memorial Institute at McGill University in Montreal, a psychiatric facility with the best reputation in the country. More than half a century later, Diane still remembers what she saw then, as if it were yesterday. Because when they got to the hospital door, her enthusiasm turned to horror.
When we got there, the place was just like a scene from One Flew Out of the Cuckoo's Nest. There were people banging their heads on the walls and droning, and my mother was sitting there completely drugged up. And even as a child, I knew that she wasn't right.
What they didn't know at the time was that her mother, Hélène McIntosh, and hundreds of others like her were unwitting guinea pigs in brutal psychiatric experiments that took place at the Allen Institute under the codename MK Ultra. Massive drug regimens, enforced prolonged sleep, intensive electroshock, largely funded by the Canadian government and the American CIA. No consent was ever asked from the patients, and no explanation of the experiments was ever given to them. The MK Ultra brainwashing project got its start in the early days of the Cold War, when some Canadian and American soldiers returning from the conflict in Korea expressed sympathy for their communist enemies. At a time of paranoia about the so-called Red Menace, the Americans believed the Soviets and Chinese might well have devised an effective brainwashing method, and the CIA was determined to crack it, as ex-CIA officer John Gittinger told the Fifth Estate in 1980.
So we were charged with rather an elaborate attempt to try to find out chemical, psychological, any kind of means that people could use to influence the behavior of the people.
But the CIA knew it could be politically difficult to fund brainwashing directly, so it set up a front company to do it, euphemistically called the Society for the Investigation of Human Ecology.
These are the days, and ours are the occasions.
And they found a prominent scholar doing related research in Montreal, the renowned psychiatrist Dr. Ewan Cameron. co-founder of the World Psychiatric Association. Those who worked with Cameron called him domineering, and more.
He was an authoritarian, ruthless, power-hungry, nervous, tense, angry man. Not very nice.
And it is his mind, no less, which may destroy mankind.
Over the years, in addition to CIA funding, Dr. Cameron received Canadian government research grants worth well over $4 million today for experiments on what was called psychic driving and depatterning, attempts to erase negative memories from the human mind and replace them with new, positive ones. So it was that in 1962, a 23-year-old mother of two, Ellen McIntosh, was referred to Ewan Cameron for what she thought would be a time out from the pressures of motherhood and marriage.
They promised me that I would get rested. I was told that I would be looked after in the hospital.
Depressed after the birth of her second child, her GP recommended Dr. Cameron. No one told her she would be part of a radical science project with a full menu of experimental treatments, shock, drugs like LSD, months of induced sleep with recordings bombarding her subconscious 24/7. After all that, Ellen McIntosh says she effectively became an infant again.
That was hell. It really was. It's something that you can't describe. And when I start talking about it, I start shaking. My body shakes. It's like my body's saying, don't go there.
Today, Ellen has only a few scattered memories of her years at the Allen.
Electroshock and a picture of Dr. Cameron, but I do remember him. I remember his voice very clearly.
What do you remember about it?
He sat me in front of a group of medical students or doctors that were doing their residency, and he said, this woman is hopelessly incurable, and that was it. And he was so cold.
But through all of that, her young daughter Diane, raised by grandparents, lived for those special times when her mother got the chance to spend a few hours with her girls.
I remember when she was able to come out for a visit, and she would be able to come over and tuck me in at my granny's place, and I would just lie there immobile after she left. And when Granny would come in to say goodnight, I'd say, don't touch the covers, don't touch the covers, don't change it, because Mom left it this way. And I try to sleep all night without moving the covers.
In all, Ellen McIntosh spent 2 years at the Allen Institute. Most of her memories erased like data on a hard drive.
That's you.
Yeah.
Look how dark my hair is. I don't think that's...
Today, at home in British Columbia, much of the McIntosh family album is a mystery to Ellen. Now it's Diane who must guide her mom through the images of the past she no longer remembers.
There's Carolyn. So they're not in order.
No, that's me.
That's you, of course.
It is clear that in different ways, both McIntoshes are victims of that secret brainwashing project in Montreal, and they are far from alone. Hundreds of victims passed through these doors in the 1950s and 60s, all with their own horror stories.
I feel like I've been completely used. I feel like my mind has been completely invaded.
Had to be toiletry. I was a vegetable. I had no identity, I had no memory, I'd never existed in the world before.
I had lost all
just
my
like a baby in myself.
I suffered like hell.
My mother had to stay with me all the time. She couldn't leave me 1 hour.
5 decades later, the government of Canada has been more deeply involved in all this than it wants to admit, with new secret settlements, shutting down lawsuits, and gag orders. And as you'll see after the break, it is not something they want you to know about.
The government doesn't seem to do anything. They don't recognize you. It's wrong. It's shameful.
From 1950 until the mid-60s, Montreal's respected psychiatric facility, the Allen Memorial Institute, was the site of secret brainwashing experiments, funded by the CIA under the codename MKUltra, with money from the Canadian government as well. The program would quietly be shut down in 1965. But the truth about what happened there would be protected for another decade and a half longer. Then, in 1980, we were among the first to tell Canadians about it.
The Fifth Estate.
I'm Adrienne Clarkson. Tonight we report on a secret CIA research project carried out in Montreal in which mental patients felt they were used as the CIA's guinea pigs.
They kept you asleep for 23 days. And while I was asleep, they were shocking the heck out of me with electric shocks.
And the Fifth Estate stayed on the story for years to come. From then to now, many of the key questions have remained the same.
The Fifth Estate.
So why was Ottawa so ambiguous when it came to helping some Canadian citizens get compensation from Washington for what they endured in a program that was inspired mostly by American Cold War fears? Well, the answer was simple. The government of Canada was even more deeply involved in the Allen Memorial experiments than the Americans.
Get away!
Hold him!
After word of the experiments at the Allen Memorial Institute came out, the CBC broadcast a drama entitled The Sleep Room about Dr. Ewan Cameron's mind control treatments. In the absence of visual evidence inside the hospital, it is as close as we can come to how it looked and sounded.
Natalie?
Driving doesn't work. Can you admit that now? You destroyed these people for nothing! You can't just walk away from this, Cameron! It'll come back and it'll ruin you!
Many of them were just sitting there like zombies, and I have a headache. I don't remember anything.
Gina Blasbalg was 15 and in an orphanage when she was sent to the Allen. She got massive drug doses and was kept asleep for months. Fortunately, she never received electroshock therapy, which may explain why she remembers the real Dr. Cameron and his patients. How did those patients regard, or apparently regard, Dr. Cameron?
Those patients were too far gone. The ones that were not too far gone were terrified of him. We were all terrified to see him around. We didn't want to be near him. I don't think that any patient ever wanted to be close to Dr. Cameron.
When news of Cameron's experiments was revealed, 9 of the Canadian victims filed a lawsuit against the Central Intelligence Agency, alleging they had been unwittingly used in research that was medically improper, even illegal. Plaintiff Velma Orlico of Winnipeg didn't think they stood a chance.
I've often, when I've been alone at home, thought, how can you fight the CIA? Who in heck do you think you are? How can you fight the CIA?
But eventually, in the late 80s, David got a concession from Goliath. The CIA settled with the Canadian patients for about $90,000 apiece. A moral victory, at least. And a few years after that, in the 90s, the Government of Canada announced its own compensation plan. But only for the most seriously injured victims, those who survived the experiments in a childlike state. The government also insisted it had no legal or moral obligation to do it. To many, that system seemed designed not to distribute compensation, but to discourage it. In the end, only 80 of the patients subjected to the brutal psychiatric experiments were approved for federal compensation. Another 250 were denied. And who knows how many more never even knew the compensation program existed. So when the application deadline came and went, it was too late to apply. The government's secret brainwashing program simply faded into the past. Or did it?
Have you ever questioned the nature of your reality?
No. You only see what your eyes want to see.
How can life be what you want it to be? You're frozen.
Marshall Mathers. Some of you may know him as Eminem, but he's going to join the Saturday night crew with our music intro starting next Saturday night. But folks, I want to take you to the world premiere of one of his new videos called Berserk. Take a listen. So was that the great Rick Rubin who was helping produce that with you, Marshall, when you did that?
Yeah, sorry. Live TV. Live TV freaks me out a little bit.
No.
Yes, I'm sorry. What was the question? I'm really uncomfortable right now.
Okay. It's like the boy in the bubble who never could adapt. I'm trapped. If I can go back, I never would have rapped. I sold my soul to the devil, I'll never get it back. I just want to leave this game with level head intact. Imagine going from being and no one to seeing everything blow up, and all you did was just grow up and seeing. It's fucking crazy.
Yes, I'm sorry. What was the question?
You only see what your eyes want to see. How can life be what you want it to be? You're frozen when your heart's not open.
That's enough. This behavior, we're miles beyond a glitch here.
With her coach, Patrick Moratoglu, and still looking unwell. She looked dizzy and disorientated out on court number 1, had the doctor on court for 13 minutes before she played the match, only completed 3 games.
When I was making love to my old boyfriend, I used to think about women sometimes.
Oh, good Lord. I'm sure he was delighted when you told him, because...
We can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
In every way, and I was very proud of her.
Did you talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
Did you
talk about vice presidential possibilities with Senator Warren?
Healthcare. We need to make what we've got work really well and improve it and get the costs out of an upward spiral.
Are you connecting? Picasso is dead. Steve Jobs is dead. Walt Disney is dead. Name somebody living that you can name in the same breath as them.
All right, and Connor, can you respond? Say something nice about Jose, please? No? Okay, not happening.
Yeah, it's a difficult title. It's a good, a good day to die.
But I suppose it's because you had kind of a good day, and if you would have died, well, so be it. Is that it?
That's right. That's a good question. Have a sandwich, and let's go shopping.
Yeah.
Die hard.
That would have been your chosen title.
Well, it's about, it makes about as much sense. A good, or maybe there is a good day to die hard.
The moving piece of film and music that is the video for 1-800-273-8255 brought me to tears. The truth is piercing, and the truth is what matters. And the truth is that none of us are alone. It takes great courage to show the vulnerable side of being human. And as long as you never give up on yourself, light will break through the darkness.
There are many ways I can inflict pain on my opponent and put him away.
How will Aldo try to attack Conor?
Okay, well, Aldo's a very fast guy, and these guys have been wanting to get at each other. The big question is, can Aldo even get to Conor McGregor? Somebody that's got the footwork of Conor, the awkward styles, constantly is changing between an orthodox and a southpaw stance. So, if Aldo can come out here and try to...
There are many ways I can inflict.
That's exactly how
you have to have a certain amount of distance between the bodies
exactly.
in your high.
Yes, like they say in Catholic school, leave room for the Holy Ghost. Anyway, there is a lot of memories today, actually. It's a big day in music history.
35 years ago today, Elvis Presley passed away, the king of rock and roll. And as Mark Cohn says in his great song, Walking in Memphis, there's a pretty little thing waiting for the king down.
And I understand the more you stare, the more tired you become and the more you will relax. I want you to just block out any thought processes and sounds and just begin to stare at the light. And of course, if you have to close your eyes, I'm going to simply invite you to take breaths in with me. Understand? Every breath you take and every word I say, and out, and just relax. That's
We're going to let Richard continue his work through the commercial break.
Moments, but not yet.
What do you think about the doctor's findings and testimony? Log on to cfnews13.com/chat to voice your opinion. I'm chatting too. We'll try to answer your questions.
I'm sorry.
Wipe the drawer.
I was in a trance.
I'm sorry, is there someone talking to you?
Yes, sorry.
Sorry about that. So I just was wondering
They
how
just
everyone's
came
doing.
in.
Hello, Courtney, have we lost you?
All right. It looks like Courtney doesn't really want to go there with
I think
that
she's
question.
blanking. So I just was wondering
They
how
just
everyone's
came
doing.
in.
Hello, Courtney, have we lost you?
Now, who's the dummy?
Whoa.
All right.
Sorry. Yeah, that's okay.
Can you explain what this instant personalization thing was that you did, and why you did it, and what's the value of it to your users?
Maybe I should take off the hoodie.
Take off the hood.
Go ahead.
You want
What
to?
the hell?
You want? Go ahead. Here. Let me get someone. You all right?
Yeah.
This is a great moment in internet history.
What?
You all right?
What are we gonna do with the mic?
Put it on your.
All right.
Put it on the collar of your T-shirt. Do you want?
You need some help?
No, I'm good.
All right. Okay. Mark?
Sorry about the.
Sorry about being warm, Mark.
No, it's.
We're not even yelling at you.
Yeah.
Yet.
We're not going to yell at it.
No, of course not. That is a warm hoodie.
Yeah. No, it's a thick hoodie. It's a company hoodie. We print our mission on the inside.
What?
Oh,
my
really?
God, the inside of the hoodie, everybody. Take a moment. What is it? Making the
world more open and connected.
Oh my God, it's like a secret cult. Look at that, making the world open and connected, stream graph platform, and this weird symbol in the middle that is probably for the Illuminati.
From the Rockefeller Commission report that 22 years ago, an Army employee was given an after-dinner cordial at a meeting hosted by the CIA in Maryland. That Army employee did not know and was not told for 20 minutes that the after-dinner drink had acid, LSD, in it. And 1 week later, that employee was dead. Early in the morning, very early, about 1:30 in the morning, in a hotel room in New York City, he got up, and before his CIA escort could prevent him, he ran right through a closed hotel window, which had the shades drawn over it. The window gave way, and the employee fell 10 stories to his death. Well, that account in the Rockefeller Commission report horrified most readers, but we can only imagine what it did to a Maryland woman, Alice Olson, and her 2 sons, Eric Olson and Niels Olson. They had been told 22 years ago that Frank Olson, their husband and their father, a civilian Army employee working in Maryland at the Fort Detrick Biological Warfare Research Center, after leading a perfectly normal and happy life, had inexplicably killed himself in New York. They were not told anything about the LSD experiment that had set him off, and until they read the Rockefeller Commission report 22 years afterwards, last month, they had spent 2 decades racked with the guilt and the shame that a suicide in a family causes. We spoke to the Olsons this week. Ted Clark, one of our reporters here at the Washington Bureau, reached them at their home by phone, and here is his conversation.
I'm talking to Niels Olson in Frederick, Maryland. Niels, could you tell us briefly the story of your father's death and the circumstances surrounding it?
Well, as far as we know at this point, my father, Frank R. Olson, who was a civilian biochemist working for the United States Army, died shortly after midnight on November 28, 1953. As we understand it, he had been given LSD without his knowledge at a meeting that was being held with several CIA agents who were liaison people between the CIA and the Army research installation that my father worked for. They were at a meeting discussing biological research, and during the week-long meeting in November of '53, they slipped him and 4 other top-level scientists LSD after dinner one evening, and then 20 minutes later, they were told that they had been given the LSD, and they were going to be observed to see their reactions to the drug. He developed serious side effects to the drug, and returned from the week-long meeting to our house. My mother noticed very dramatic changes in his personality, as being very despondent and depressed and very quiet and so on. Then he went to work at Fort Detrick here in Frederick on the following Monday, and was considering resigning from his job there. Was talked back into staying on, and then Tuesday it was decided that he would go to see a psychiatrist up in New York City. The psychiatrist, Harold Abramson is his name, was a psychiatrist who had a security clearance, and therefore was, we were told, selected to be the therapist to talk to my father, because my father had a top-level security clearance. My father talked with Abramson for several days during the week after he had been administered the LSD. Then the Friday night, November 27th, 1953, he telephoned my mother to indicate that he was doing okay, that he'd be coming home on Saturday, November 28th. That was the last time that my mother talked to him. Then we received a phone call the next morning from a colleague who had received a phone call from a CIA agent who was up in New York with my father, accompanying him, and that was when we were notified that my father had plunged to his death out of a 10th floor window of the Hotel Statler in New York.
Was any explanation given to you about why this had happened? that he had been a participant in this experiment with LSD?
No, we had no knowledge of that. We hadn't received any communication whatsoever from the Central Intelligence Agency, and the only thing we were told was that he jumped or fell from the 10th floor window, and it was our understanding that he had just suffered a nervous breakdown, and was very depressed. And my mother believed that during the middle of the night he must have had a severe nightmare, a bad dream or something, where he was just compelled to go at a full run across the hotel room, and leap through a window, a closed window, and the shades were drawn on the window. So that was all that we knew.
But he had, prior to this time, had led a happy life and hadn't shown any signs of depression.
No, he had not shown any signs. My mother said that they had a very good marriage. My father was a very loving person and a very giving sort of person who loved his 3 children very much and spent quite a bit of time with us, devoted a lot of energy towards his wife and children. And that was the thing that so threw all of his friends, his wife, and the 3 children, was that we couldn't understand how he had, after being such a good, warm, stable sort of person, the idea that he could suddenly develop a nervous breakdown was something we just couldn't comprehend.
When was it that you finally found out that he had been an unwitting participant in this LSD experiment?
That was on June 11th, 1975. We received a phone call from a friend who had seen the story in the Washington Post, a release of some information from the Rockefeller Commission report, indicating that from the information that they had cited in the report, that it could be no other person than our father.
And then you decided to take action against the CIA.
That's correct.
What are you going to be doing?
Number one, be able to get full disclosure of the information concerning our father's death. We feel that the information has not really been disclosed yet, and we feel that it's only through a suit will the CIA relinquish the information that they have, and all those people who have information come forward and speak frankly. In addition, we do feel that a suit will bring about some punitive damages to the CIA. We do feel that the CIA should be held accountable for their actions. I want to say my brother's about to get on the phone here.
Okay,
Eric
sure.
Olson. Hi, I'm Nils' brother.
Hi, Eric.
Hi. What's your name?
My name's Ted Clark.
You're from Pacifica?
Pacifica Radio, right.
Right, you have station BAI in California, right?
Right, BAI in New York and 2 stations in California, KPFA and KPFK.
Mm-hmm. We're on tape here, right?
Yeah. And we also have a station in Texas, KPFT.
Yeah, I know your station. They're really good.
I was going to ask if you know of anybody else, or if any of your father's colleagues who participated in the same experiment. Have you talked to any of them, or do you know who they are?
We know who one of them is.
Uh-huh.
And the material which we put into our statement, some of it comes from that colleague, and he has asked us not to disclose his identity. I'm sure his identity will come out very shortly, but it hasn't so far, and we promise not to. So we know who he is. There were 3 others, according to him. One of them is dead, and we know his name. And 2 others are living, and he refused to tell us the names of those 2.
Well, I think I have pretty much the whole story. If you have any comments that you'd like to add.
There's one comment that I have.
Sure.
I don't know whether Neil said this earlier to you, but today, well, to some degree during the press conference, and especially after, we were aware that what we'd really gone through was a real funeral ceremony for our father. And it was a funeral in the sense that we were honoring him and dignifying his death. in a way that he couldn't be eulogized at the time he died because no one knew the true story, and there was a sort of mysterious shroud around the way he had died, and it didn't fit with the kind of man that his friends and family knew him to be. And there was a kind of feeling that what's happening today was really a funeral ceremony. We also are very powerful about being able to be involved in that and to make it an event that would have meaning for the whole country.
I think it will. Okay, Eric and Nels, thank you very much for taking the time. I know you must be really tired.
Yeah, we're sort of tired. So Pacifica Radio is worth it.
I appreciate your saying that.
For Pacifica in Washington, this is Robert Krulwich, with Ted Clark, Paz Cohen, Kitty Ferguson, and Paul Chaplin, who contributed to this program, wishing you a good evening.
I'm sorry.
Wipe the drool.
I was in a trance.
Yeah, wipe the drool there.
You've had a rough year. You've had a year that would test a lot of people. Mm-hmm. Illness in the family. Mm-hmm. A breakup. This spasm of publicity about what happened from Mexico to London.
It was pretty rough. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of weird. Weird. Hello. Oh my goodness. Hello. Ew. Strawberry. Yeah, it was a weird. Ew. I'm embarrassed. Can we stop?
In covertly recorded off-air transmissions from the Bush-Clinton presidential election campaign in the 1990s, we can see that Bill Clinton was nothing more than a puppet to the puppet masters which placed him in the White House. Bill Clinton's demeanor seems to be similar to a person who is under a hypnotic trance.
You probably heard about the voice of God inside your head. Is it real? Absolutely. You can hear the handlers or mind prison guards inside your skull as clearly as a cell phone call. This is the synthetic telepathy that the CIA has been working on for decades.
Is this the stuff, voices in the head and things like that?
Yes.
We've run into a few people that claim they got voices in their heads, they sleep inside tinfoil boxes, they do a lot of crazy things, it seems, but when they talk to us, they seem totally normal, they seem totally sane. Are these people crazy, or is the government doing this to them?
The government's doing this to them.
Voices are very easy. And it isn't people imagining voices, they physically hear them. They physically hear, as I'm talking to you, my voice isn't inside your brain. My voice goes no further than an inch into your ear, no further at all. It's the electrical signal that makes you interpret how I sound. And once you've got this electrical signal, which can be a chip or lots of things, you can physically make people hear voices, certain voices, and it can be any conversation, and it can be anybody you want to hear. It can be a soft angelic voice, it can be a god, it can be something that scares you like a devil. It could be anything.
And then I'd go down the road and talk to somebody else, and they would continue the conversation because it was that same energy speaking through these people that it had hacked into. So it's an intelligent life that literally can hack into people, and it can use them as their puppets. What it does essentially, it puts you or your soul energy in a sort of box inside you where it feeds off of it, and it stays in your body and expresses. It's why we have so many murderers, child molesters, and things like that out there.
18 fighter jets are spending about as much as 20 and ready to assist the 100 deployed over the announced needed. Now, it did depend that how the NOLAN remerges RN, while the university or the UN mission as whole received support from all batteries in the hues of the garbins of today. Excuse me. I'll hand it back to you.
Barack Obama retaking the oath of office. Chief Justice Roberts, with reporters present, administering the oath, getting the words right, unlike me this time, launched a high-profile bid to be named Secretary of State, named as Secretary of State Clinton's old Senate seat. Candy will continue to work her source.
Better, because I'm a truth machine. Go ahead.
IS.
Is not an answer. Don't give me baloney.
I had a little bit.
Just pay attention. Listen to me. You're a big baby. I'm going to go back to you, sir. I want you to tell me about this cousin, Stephanie.
What?
Make a beeline for the brain as soon as they are inhaled. Too big to pass back through the blood-brain barrier, they become trapped there. Nature.com, January 5th, 2004. Once nanoparticulates have sufficient control over a host body, they can then be remotely controlled to work as a GPS tracking device to inflict physical pain and disease, to influence emotional states, to cause memory lapses, to read brain patterns, and even to remotely influence thoughts. Scientists working at the University of Southern California have created an artificial memory system that allows thoughts, memories, and learned behavior to be transferred from one brain to another. Using nanoparticles and a magnetic field, University of Buffalo scientists have been able to make worms move in any direction they dictated simply by heating clusters of nanoparticles inside them. These fibers contain nano components which construct and install nano implants, which the aggregate of constitutes what is commonly known as a biological application programming interface, allowing for complete monitoring and control of all body and mind function in a given host, you and everyone on the entire planet, or plant. Here is a payload. The zoom is, I think, 1/200th. Another. These are the deliveries through our blood membranes. These are in all of us, all our children, everyone.
And it works in reverse. As creepy as this may sound, it works in reverse as well. Control panel stalkers are able to see any images originating in the target individual's mind, both actual images and fictional images. And by actual images, I mean, like, literally, they can see what I see out of my own two eyes. They can see what I'm looking at out of my own two eyes through this image induction technology. But they can also see fictional images. So any thoughts of images that are in my mind. So if I'm thinking about something in my memory, something that happened several years ago, and I have an image of that in my mind, then they can actually see that too. Or if I'm imagining something, there's an image that I'm imagining in my mind, they can actually see that too. And I know that sounds very science fiction, very crazy, but again, look at Dr. Robert Duncan's book, you'll see that it's not.
This may be the most amazing picture you'll ever see in your life. This is a phase 2 subject with a nano camera in the left eye, only viewable with the proper wavelength of black light. Everyone on the planet has a basic set of nano implants that allows them to be tracked and mind controlled on demand. People who contract what I call phase 2 will have additional implants that allows them to be body controlled as well as whole host of other functions. Your body is turned into a robot against your knowledge and against your will. The aggregate of these nano implants constitutes what is commonly known as biological application programming interface. This camera is too small and can't be seen, but it can be felt. Some more thoughts and information on the ocular nano implants are available. This technology has been available for the powers that be, mostly the men in black, to use their technological control to control all. Along with their secret societies, they get others to do the bidding of them as they hide behind the scenes in the darkness. That's why they use the owl that can see in the dark. But as you can see throughout history, they've all been a part of these secret societies and secret clubs that are now using touchless torture, mind control techniques on everyone. Look at this. George Washington, first thing it says on his tombstone, he was a Freemason. Admiral Byrd, who allegedly discovered South Pole, it was in the pocket of Rockefeller. And look at Bush with all his Freemason buddies all around. They do not get into power unless they are owned and controlled sock puppets. And here is a list I made up, which I'll put in the show notes as well, showing all the secret society memberships from Jimmy Carter to George Bush to Bill Clinton to Winston Churchill to all of these, Nelson Mandela. They're all part of secret societies. The general rule is if they're a celebrity, if you see them in power, if you see them being the CEO of a corporation like USA, the guy's name is Trump, they are owned. They're sock puppets. They're actors. The Reagan was an actor. They're just doing the bidding of the people behind the scenes, and it's not the Jews. The Jews are the ones that get to keep all the money. They're called the Korthoff Judens. That's why the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers get to keep all the money. But it's the men in black behind them, the Jesuits, the Knights of Malta, the ones that run all the secret societies, the 13 satanic bloodlines from Italy, the Breckspears, and the rest of those that are running the show and have been running it for over 500 years, if not 5,000 years. But we're breaking away now. We're waking up.
Most Western cultures see the butterfly as elegant, graceful, and full of beauty. It's a symbol usually attributed to life, hope, or remembrance of a loved one. So why is it that the Illuminati frequently use this symbol to mark their subjects of mind control, otherwise known as monarch programming, MK Ultra, MK Naomi, or Manchurian candidates? Make no mistake, mind control is a real thing. The CIA programs MK Ultra and MK Naomi are declassified programs which ran from 1953 to 1973 and engaged in illegal activities of subjecting unwilling participants to drug use, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, verbal and sexual abuse, and other forms of psychological torture to control their minds. And you thought it was only the Nazis. There's a ton of information out there on MK Ultra, and there's a wealth of information on the internet about its history. However, we're going to look at the mechanisms of mind control developed by the CIA as still being used in the entertainment industry and how it applies to the symbol of the butterfly. Hey everybody, this is Mike with On Point Preparedness. The elite, the Illuminati, controllers, handlers, whatever you want to call them, they always leave symbols in plain sight to mark their work. As you can see from these series of pictures, several celebrities are frequently seen with the monarch butterfly. It is especially occult when you see them place the butterfly over one eye or over the mouth. There are so many instances of this very odd placement of a butterfly that one has to question exactly what meaning they are trying to convey. If you do some searching around the internet, you'll find a very common explanation. Just as the monarch butterfly goes through metamorphosis, these controllers or handlers of these celebrities are using mind control techniques to morph the minds of their subjects. Probably one of the most blatant examples of this is with the celebrity Amanda Bynes. You can see her here in this milk commercial with the butterfly on her nose and the word metamorphosis below. Supposedly, they are saying the milk is the cause of the metamorphosis. However, just with any other MK Ultra subject, their mind breaks down from repeated insults. Here you see Amanda, who was a perfectly normal, talented, and strong actor/singer, completely lose her mind, shave half of her head, and post a series of very strange Twitter videos, such as this one where she is twitching and jerking her facial expressions as she poses for a selfie. However, there is a much deeper meaning to the butterfly symbol, and I really don't believe you've seen this anywhere else. At least I haven't. The following quote is attributed to the Dalai Lama. As opposed to the picturesque view of a butterfly that Westerners have, the Dalai Lama says the butterfly is actually a very cold symbol. He says, quote, "The butterfly never meets its mother. It must survive independently and remains a stranger to affection. An animal nurtured by mother's milk, however, is dependent on another for its basic survival. A child who grows up in a cold and detached home environment is similar to the butterfly, in that kindness is sparing. Once an adult, it'll be very difficult for that person to show compassion." The key to what the Dalai Lama said in that quote is that the butterfly is detached from its mother or family. And that's exactly what celebrity handlers try to do: distance the family as far as possible from their target. Here's a story of Billy Ray Cyrus talking about how his family is under attack by Satan, and how Miley's handlers were the main catalyst. He says, over time, something bad would happen in her career, and her handlers would try to get her dad in the picture so they could blame him for his parenting. It happened so much that Billy Ray had enough of it and decided to keep his distance. At this point, her handlers went wild and took total control of Miley. In this news clip, her handlers were, quote, concerned about a missing phone with incriminating pictures of Miley. Billy Ray asked her handlers what was going on, and they said, quote, "It was none of his business." He says, "I'm dealing with somebody that had only known my daughter for possibly 4 years, and I'm her daddy, and they're telling me it's none of my business?" From that point on, things just went downhill. He goes on later to say that his and Miley's faith was greatly shaken, and that this was definitely an attack by Satan. Indeed, it definitely is. So not only do we see metamorphosis of a butterfly symbolize MK Ultra modification, or how splitting a subject from their family is much like the independent life of a butterfly, there's also one more symbol. The butterfly on the exterior is very beautiful. However, it's very fragile as well. And this is exactly what these celebrities are. Behind all the professional photos that look like they have it together and are beautiful, their controllers and their handlers, the drug use, or whatever exposures they are going through, easily rip them apart like a frail butterfly's wings. You can see so many celebrities go through complete mental breakdowns after this programming starts to become too much. Britney Spears, Lindsay Lohan, Miley Cyrus, Amanda Bynes, and the list continues on and on and on. And there's not much else to say except the world is super evil, my friends, but we all know that there is one hope. As much as we hate to see these celebrities promote the Antichrist spirit, we must continually pray for them that they turn back to Yeshua, Jesus Christ, and the Father. Very much like we hope Kanye West is turning back to Yeshua based on all his very peculiar behaviors as of lately.
It's my first Instagram joint, you know what I'm saying, that I did, you know, specifically ever for Instagram, you know what I'm saying, and I wanted to mean something, I wanted to make sense, so I want to give a special shout out to Kanye, you know what I'm saying, let him know that my prayers are with him, my family's prayers are with him, you know, remind him that when God is for you, who could be against you? No one and nothing. Stand strong, brother. Stand strong, brother. Stand strong.
here and believed here. Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
classrooms are laboratories for future generations. And while these new tools may potentially help some 200 million students raise their grades, just how this all works out won't be apparent until they become adult citizens.
Good evening.
I assume my time is as good as anyone's.
Indeed it is. However, there is a voluntary donation for non-members. Most give a year. What's your game?
Poker.
Right this way.
What's the limit?
There is none.
I don't believe we've had the pleasure of your company before, Mr. Salas. Will Salas. Philippe Weiss. You must come from time. You could say I'm gambling my inheritance. You don't have a garden, Mr. Salas? I assumed I was amongst friends. Bet you 50 years. You must be young. When you've been 25 for 85 years like I have, and knowing only a random act of violence can take your life, you learn to appreciate what you have. And you seem to have a lot to appreciate. I call. Of course, some think what we have is unfair. The time difference between zones. I've heard that. But isn't this just the next logical step in our evolution? And hasn't evolution always been unfair? It's always been survival of the fittest. Raise you another 2 centuries. This is merely Darwinian capitalism. Natural selection. Absolutely. The strong survive. And I think your hand is weak. I call. It appears you're all in, Mr. Salas. Figures. Well played. That was some risk.
So, what are you doing with the rest of your life?
Catching up on some me time, find God.
In my life, so many trials, tribulation on every side, but I know all that they call